He was just asking us if we were related.
We're live.
And we're live. Okay, well, cool. Let's get this party started. So it's praise time. Again, we're switching up praise. We're trying to go for quality praise, so that so that when people are quantifying, if it's anonymous and who the person is, that it's known, it's able to be said, right? And it's Yonks. Hey, Yonks. Mr. and Mrs. Yonks hanging out. Cool. Well, I want to just major praise to Chewy for the TE comms work and the comms DAO already today. The TE Academy is looking for support there, and there's so many cool ideas for there. So I think we're really on the right path with that. Great work, Chewy. I also want to praise Aloysius, Eduardo, LB, and Tam for the amazing Communitas work that's been going on. I feel like we get so much cred for the community work, and it's because you guys are putting in efforts. And I want to praise Olivia for the soft gov work, because also in the TE when Angela came and actually told us how the community is so valuable, and the cultural build that we've done is going to be so important, and she learned the lessons through the hard way with Ocean, and so I think that we're set up, and thank you, Olivia, for putting all that work. Also, forum posts by Mitch this week have been incredible. Major praise to Mitch, and a major praise to Sam and Paulo and the whole Common Swarm team for their work on EVM CRISPR and getting DAO redundancy out. And I'll pass it to Septimus.
I want to give thanks to Tam for helping me to improve the voices on the forum set that I post today. I want to give thanks to Lily for all the questions that you made on the governance part. I also want to give thanks to the voice leader thing. I was ready to make this switch for the voice. And I also want to give thanks to the Communitas team. After hearing from Angela, we definitely got in later. And of course, Mitch, for the divine leadership. I'll pass it to Juan.
Thanks, Septi. I would like to praise Lowy for leading this week's Graviton training. I would like to praise Aloysius for helping delivering each of the Graviton training session POAPs. I would like to praise Mitch for accepting an invitation to an Ethereum Colombia event to talk about the TEC. That's great. And I would like to praise Libby for her leadership in governance and in SoftGov. Mateo for taking vacations and time for himself. Tam for helping me to draft the gravity funding proposal. And Septi and Ivy for being always on top of publishing every call and fostering transparency. And I will pass to Lauren.
Hi, everyone. Cool. I want to praise Pedro for adding the voice recordings to the dashboard. I want to praise Mitch, Vitor, Fabio, Griff, Pedro, Marco for all the dedication to the dashboard. Just like always, it's just so many weeks, and it's almost done. I want to praise Vitor for his cool NFT curation post thing, and then also for looking for NFT for good projects, because that helps everybody in the space. And I want to praise Loey for leading the last gravity training. I want to praise Wonka and Durgadas and Aloysius for always adding value in Graviton trainings, even when they're not leading them. And I'll pass it to Zepti.
Thanks. I want to praise Angela for the reflections on the community she brought to us today. Praise Tim for keeping an eye on everything and improving so many things and being proactive to explore solutions. I praise Septimus for quickly engaging in a discussion with me about best ways to frame steps for a proposal. Praise Juanca for migrating gravity cases to Zen Hub for transparency. Praise Lorelei for bringing restorative justice to gravity. Praise Mitch for organizing the initial buy-in proposal into a super easy to understand forum post. Praise Mateo for taking the responsibility of the the rewards committee and the in the rewards process now. And that was it. And I'll pass to Acid Laser.
Thanks. So, hello everyone. So, praise to David for all his contributions all this time at Comms and in the community. Juanca for all his commitment with the Graviton training. Chuy for doing it very well with the future team DAO. Zero for being for his engaged with the Twitter team, and Ivy for doing it very well with Twitter and leading that area. And I pass it to, I don't know who's left. Maybe Bianca.
Hi, I want to praise for the gravity training. It's been really awesome, and I praise for everyone that's helping in the gravity training, everyone that's answering all the questions that I'm having because I'm new here, and I'll pass to I don't know.
I can jump in there. Or Chewy
Cool.
can jump in there. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna praise Chewy and Ivy for being amazing comms leaders and supporting me in my journey to find my way and place here at the TEC. I want to support Wonka for the gravity trainings, Aloysius for helping with the gravity trainings. I want to praise Zero for magically appearing at a time when Twitter assistance was needed. The universe works in wonderful ways sometimes. Thank you, and I praise you for showing up at just the right time. Zepti, I want to praise you again for covering the last Twitter corner for me. Acid Laser, as always, coming up with the amazing graphics and really pushing the envelope now of what is a great graphic for the TEC. Eduardo, for your amazing positive attitude that always shines through, and I think I heard the timer there. So that's it. Over to Chewy.
Thank you, David. I would like to praise Mateo because he's visiting Mexico City and we're having lunch together. Angela for her valuable discussion in today's Stewards Council. Marco and Griff for helping with creative onboarding. Edu for being awesome with new contributors. Tam for her constant and careful guidance and also for being a poker master. Zero, Rodri, and Tuk for starting their TEC journey. Shuga, because I've been listening to a lot of Yola Tango, thanks to her. David for his new job, we wish you the best. Acid Laser for becoming a design machine in the past month. Seriously, what a journey you've had. Ivy for her hard and committed work and because she's gonna pass her driver's test by the time she captures this break. So congrats, Ivy. Sepsi and Livy for taking such care of our decisions. And Loey and Juanca for a beautiful graviton training this week. I'll pass it to Tam.
Cool. So I'd like to praise Vi for solving all of our problems all the time. Sometimes before we even know we have them, especially improving our Discord journey and coming up with new bots and really cool things. Mitch for being the star quarterback. I mean, just taking everything down to the finish line, the buying proposal, and many other things. Nate for taking on case studies. It's such a Herculean effort that you're taking on, and I see you taking on with such grace. Also for a boardroom and moving that initiative forward. Manu for the weekly update. It's a lot more work than it looks like. That update on the forum is really great. Nick for having so much vulnerability and trusting in our community and just being such a wise and present person. Eduardo for being so kind and welcoming to everyone and all of our new people joining. And I'll pass to Griff to pass on.
Sure, I'll throw it to Mrs. Yonks. Or is that Bianca? No.
I want to praise my wonderful husband Yonks for all the community building that he does and for everything that he's doing to grow the DAO community. And I'm just excited to learn more what you guys are doing and how we can all work together. I give it to Yonks, the better half of Team Yonks.
Well, that's very debatable, and I just want to thank and praise the TEC here for what you all are doing and a very welcoming environment that you have created here. So looking forward to learning from some of the OGs in the token engineering space. So I haven't been paying attention of who is next, so if somebody could help me out with
No
that.
worries. I got you. Let's throw it to Craig.
Hey, Griff. Thanks. Yeah, boy. Where to start? I'll just dish praise to the whole Params crew. That would be like Vitor, Griff, Mount Manu, Mitch, Lauren, and I'm sure I'm going to miss several others. But great work on your progress on the dashboard and all that stuff. Back to you, Griff.
Nice. How about Eduardo?
Thank you. I want to dish praise to, in this case, Mr. Junks for assisting to rotation call, and then now to Mrs. Junks to assist to this call. Praise to you for joining the community. I want to dish praise to Libby for helping with the proposal template. I want to dish praise to Tam for pushing the peer-to-peer review. I want to dish praise to Shui for his openness and his work in comms. I want to dish praise to Azulaser for trying new designs and receive constructive feedback in a positive way. I want to dish praise to Septimus for his work on transparency, as well as Libby. I want to dish praise to Juanca that always assists to the TDC Lounge, and he's always there to have a conversation in Spanish if no one else joins. I want to dish praise to David for his transparency and clarity regarding his new job and being empathic enough to share that with us. I want to dish praise to LB, MS for contributing also to Communitas working group, as well as Gideon. I want to dish praise to Mitch for the good morning that he shares in the general channel every morning. Thank you for that. Back to you, Griff.
Well, let's throw it to Mitch.
Thanks. Let's get my little list up here. So I'd like to praise Vitor, Fabio, Nug, and Pedro for their hard development work on the CCD. Praise Lauren for the wonderful voice recordings for the Learn modules. Praise to Zep, Tam, Lauren, Griff, and Juan for their contributions to the buy-in proposal. Praise Libby for all the feedback, leading SoftGov stuff in the reward system, and just like generally having great feedback for everything. Mount Manu, he was sick. Now he's back and he's grabbing issues, so it's really great to see him in there. Praise Christopher for PMing the reward system, and praise to Rudolph, Nuggan, 5IV for developing the reward system. And who we got left here? 08.
Yes, hello. I want to praise you all for being amazing and a really awesome community, and I'm like really glad to be a part of it. And I don't know if I could pass it to somebody, but yeah.
No, Mitch nailed it. You were the last one. Oh, well done, Mitch.
Thanks, Mitch.
Oh, look, actually someone just came in. Let's see, who is it? BFA. Do you have any praise to dish this week? Do you know our praise game?
Sorry, just joining.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll save you.
Buddy. Hi, BFA. Glad you're here. Shoot out some
Hey,
praise.
David.
Thank anybody you want. You got 30 seconds to thank people in your life.
Oh, okay. I think I'm going to thank David. David has been awesome to, especially my couple of stuff that I do in the Gitcoin DAO. We work together in Gitcoin DAO. We contribute together. So this appreciation, is it limited to one person?
No, not at all. You can praise. It's generally like praising someone. You can praise anyone. Ideally, they're in this Discord. Otherwise, they don't get extra points. But
Oh, okay. So I would say, David. I mean, I'm speaking about people that I've worked closely with that have really impact my, my contribution. Z82 zero to infinity. I think it's another person that
Thanks a
I
lot.
mean, we've done stuff together. I want to appreciate these two great fellows. And one person that I met during the token engineering conference that I joined remotely, but I'm looking for the name now. Here, either John or something. I can't really. I'm trying to look for the name now. Is the coordinator? Is the coordinator in charge of the um, of the um, during the token engineering conference that was held in I think it's Germany. Is it Germany? Can't really remember now. I joined. I mean,
I
I was
think that
invited.
was Peter.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. That's it. You know. Thank you so much, guys.
That's great. Well, let's. Oh, actually, Pedro just came in. Hey, Pedro, you got any praise to dish?
Sim. Hey guys, so just the basic. I would like to praise all the parameters team, especially Vitor, Mitch, Nugan, and Fabio. And finally, but last but not least, I would like to praise Griff for his support and his attention on the issues, and of course his cheerleaders skills. So, and the last one? Nice.
Yeah, that's it. So we can get this party started. Thanks, Pedro. Welcome to the 54th community call. One more community call, and next week will be our year anniversary, so that's super cool. If you guys like praise, I know I do. We don't just do praise on Thursdays. We do praise all 24/7 in the Discord channel. You can type out !praise and then list a person and then list something that they did that they deserve praise for. We want to be descriptive because it will be anonymized eventually when we do the reward DAO. So make sure to make good descriptive praise so they can get all the love that they can. We raised $1.5 million in our DAO, and we have some governance proposals that have gone through already to play some games. But the big stuff is happening next week. But I'll talk about that in the Params call section. But if you see to keep the relational fabric of our DAO super strong, we want to make sure that if anyone sees any awkwardness or feels any awkwardness with someone else, tell us about it. We have like this amazing gravity group behind the scenes working to make things to ease any kind of weirdness between our relations. So we have this great gravity type form. Fill it out and don't be shy. Tell us how we can be better as a community. And also another thing to avoid these conflicts happening in the first place is we use advice process. Advice process means before making big decisions, go and talk to the people who are going to be affected by the decisions and talk to the experts, the people who probably would want to be run by the decision, right? And this is for especially the important decisions that we all have to make every day. This is how advice process helps keep us flat, and it's really important. Okay, so we're also trying to breed our mission, vision, values back into it. So today I'm going to read out the values of the TEC so we don't forget. Our Commons operates from a pro-social, human-centered perspective and prioritizes the advancement of token engineering over short-term profits. Integrity, curiosity, constructive inquiry, presence, and gratitude are foundational for maintaining mutual respect within our growing community. We encourage our members to be radically open source, non-hierarchical, transparent in their intentions, and accountable for their actions. This is what we stand for, and I think all of you uphold our values very well. Just so you all know, all you stewards who are passing it to people, there's a new world order. At least there's a new order to this call. So don't just pass blindly because you're used to passing that way. Stewards, I'm talking to you. There's a new order, so let's keep the flow going. And with that, I will pass to the Steward of Stewards. Tam, take it away.
Cool. I'm just going to share my screen alongside yours. So yeah, we are at sprint 20. We've had 40 weeks together now, more than that actually, but we've been doing sprints for 22-week periods. And this is the sprint board. If you want to see what any working group is working on this particular sprint, you just use this drop-down menu here to go to the current sprint. And these are all of the pieces of work that the working groups are working on. It's a nice way for there to be transparency in the community and mutual accountability for the works that we're doing. Also, just on the top right of this slide, the working group meetings for the stewards are open to everybody. We do sprint planning every other Friday, and we alternate between a retrospective and a council on Thursdays, and our weekly meeting is on Wednesdays. And on the next slide, the updates are around the Community Council. So speaking of the Community Council, the Stewards Council, this week we had a focus specifically on the TE and TEC communities, and Angela joined us to share her experiences with token engineering projects, making proposals on the wider ecosystem, and the kind of support that we can help provide to make sure that these projects, these token engineering projects, get passed not only on our own in our own DAO, but in other DAOs as well. So we've been Angela and every of the stewards who joined today have been thinking about ways that we can actually realize that goal. And then Stewards Mind this week. So what's on our mind this week? We talked about the progress on the working group funds. Actually, we've had 6 drafts so far. That's pretty great. We talked about the offboarding process, and I made a nomination to offboard some of the stewards that have been very, very low activity or no activity, mostly completely inactive. And this is really related to the working group funding proposal to give a stipend to the stewards. So the expectation is to maintain the steward role, to stay active in that role. And I'm going to pass to Mitch for the buy-in proposal, who will have a few seconds to present this.
Thanks, Tam. So I'm just showing on my screen there the buy-in proposal. Sounds like there's a baby talking in the background. Might be Mrs. Yonks. Anyway, I'll go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just going to touch on mute. I apologize.
It's all good. Yeah, here's the buy-in proposal. This was a lot of work, and a lot of different people contributed to it. But basically, the gist of it is that we would like to propose to take 250,000 XDAI out of the hatch funds and earmark them to purchase TEC at the exact moment that the bonding curve launches, so acquiring it at the best possible price. And from this 250,000 XDAI, we would like to allocate them into a couple different pools. Notably, the reward system, we would like to use part of that to fund it for 6 months, and for that we're looking for 80K XDAI. Strategic partnerships, a further 27%, más o menos, and after that, secondary market liquidity for another 102K, so 41%. We just throw out a couple ballpark ideas of ways that we can implement this. The big overall thing to understand is that the reward system will be a separate entity that will manage that, and that will likely take the form of a Gnosis multisig. And the second 2 options, strategic partnerships and secondary market liquidity, will be managed by another entity known as LaserTag, Liquidity Strategic Employment Request Token Allocation Group. And so they will also be a multi-sig that will manage those options. But with that, they will only enforce things that will be approved by a community vote. So they will not be a totally independent body making arbitrary decisions. Please read, there's lots of nitty-gritty in the proposal there. And leave some advice, like Griff. That's Yeah.
Thanks
That's
so
good.
much, Mitch. Thanks for presenting that. It's super important. It's probably the most significant of our proposals in the TEC yet, in terms of at least what financially how we would like to manage some of the funds. So please do go read it and share some comments. And I'm just going to quickly go through the next two things. Mount Manu does this weekly updates on the forum. It's really great. And there's a book club. We're reading The Sovereign Individual. There's two book clubs, but this is one of two book clubs. This one is more geared for people in Asia Pacific time zones. And with that, I'll pass to Gravity and Juan Carlos.
Thanks, Tam. Well, this week we had the 5th Graviton session of the Graviton training, and the 6th session will be next Tuesday, and it will be led by Durgadas. So everyone is invited. Also, after this call, we have the NBC Book Club in the DAO Book Club server. Today's chapter will be chapter number 4, identifying feelings. And Bianca will be facilitating that call, so it's great to have new contributors stepping up. And yeah, we also are using now ZenHub in Gravity to coordinate. And yeah, our idea is to continue fostering competence of managing conflict in our personal life and in our community. So yeah, join our trainings and our book club. And also tomorrow we like to participate in the TEC lounges that are 1 hour before TE Labs, and it's a good space to talk about non-related to work things. So yeah, that's the update from Gravity, and I will pass to Common Swarm.
Cool. I can display it. So Common Swarm, we meet Monday in the One Hive channel. So if you ever want to come to a Common Swarm call, you won't see them here. They're in One Hive. We have a couple updates. There's a EVM CRISPR. This is really a critical piece of infrastructure for Aragon DAOs. It allows anybody who wants to upgrade their DAO to do it without being a crazy coder. It also allows for very complex proposals like this one to mint all of these things. So and EVM CRISPR just got a facelift. It has a front end so that you have to be code curious to use this, but you don't have to be a crazy developer. So it's super cool. You can just and Mitch has been diving in and has made some votes, and I hope to encourage the community to start to play with this because it's a way that we can actually enable non-developers to make DAO proposals, complex DAO proposals. So it's really important piece for the Common Swarm and our goal to work to alleviate the technocratic issues that plague all crypto communities. Also, I said it last week, but major props for all the redundancy efforts so that our DAOs will never go down again. We have 2 working DAO titles. And vote. So we made a second vote to make it so that we could execute these minting and burnings. We had to give permission to mint and burn these tokens for vote 1. And so that was vote number 2. But vote number 2 is also not able to be executed because we forgot about this. Transferring money out of the agent, which is also needs a different permission. So Zeptimus put up a major praise Zeptimus for putting up forum posts to talk about the next proposal that will come up probably this weekend, I'm guessing, or tomorrow potentially. And we'll get this up, and it should be a pretty easy vote. But we basically just need to give permission so that we can refund the tollgate fee. And that's it for Common Swarm. This week we're working on the bonding curve and taking in all of Brett's edits and testing to make sure that the bonding curve is working the way we expect it to. And we are targeting early November to be able to deploy the technical side of the Commons. With that, I'll pass it to Olivia with SoftGov.
Thank you. Yeah, so in SoftGov, well, we meet every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Europe time. And there's also the reward systems committee reward systems task force that is happening every Thursday at 4 p.m. Europe time. So you can also join that call, and I'll be giving some updates from the reward systems and from SoftGov. And on the reward side, we had kind of a short sync today because I think everything is flowing so well that there was not even so much to talk about. So there is the rules for praise that were drafted and are on standby now, waiting for the progress to happen until we can get to that point again. And there was also the blog post that Mitch drafted of our roadmap, and we are kind of in a steady progress there. And you can check where we are, what we're doing through that post. And also, well, the people involved in it is Mateo, who's preparing the rewards committee. And in the back end, we have Rudolph and Nugget. And on the front end, we have Casali and Christopher. And ViViV is working on the source cred bots. So those are most of the things that are moving now. And if you want to contribute with anything, just feel free to drop in the reward system chat. And then for the decision making, let me share my screen quick. So it does take a while to get to an optimal decision making process. And even a post that I did like a month ago, it's already kind of outdated because so much of what we talk every day makes us get to a better point with it. So now we're building some visuals with Katarina and Acid Laser, and we'll have much better than this that you're seeing now, but we'll have some infographics to guide the decision-making process. So the main thought is that we have 3 types of advice process. So one is just for small impact. So peer-to-peer, you're asking one person or another, few people, before you can move on with a decision. And then you have the medium impact advice process that you would ask to working groups, drop something in the agenda, open a discussion around the topic. And then the large impact community advice that would be in the forum. So posting in the forum for all the community to have awareness over that. And this last step is the first step for other processes. So this is the step for conviction voting. If you want to submit something for funding, you first post for community advice, and then you post on the conviction voting app. And TAO voting, we don't have an interface for that. But if you see any technical decisions that need to be made, you can talk to the technocracy in the TEC, so with the Common Swarm team now, but with the people that are more involved with the tech side of things. And if it's a cultural decision, you post it on Snapshot after the community advice. So maybe this is still a little bit confusing now, but it will be better integrated and easy to see in infographics. So those are kind of like the directions we're using to look into that. And very quickly, I wasn't going to share this, but then Tim and Eduardo actually started to use it. So I thought, why not, if anyone else wants to use it? Because I shared in SoftGov and then it wasn't a huge success, but now it's picking up. So that's great if someone else wants to use it. Just a tool for requesting and offering feedback. If there is someone that you would like to give feedback about their work or about anything in general. This could even be a step to gravity, and Juan and I had to chat more about this, but just some questions that are useful when giving feedback to someone to help having a comprehensive thought on it. And that's it. And I just added to this deck the Ostrom's principles, because we used to talk a lot about them and we should be picking up on them again soon. But just if anyone is curious and wants an easy way to access them while we're on this call, here they are. And with that, I'll pass to Eduardo with Communitas.
Thank you, Levi. Hello, everyone, and hello, baby Johns. So basically, what has been going through on Communitas, we, for everyone to know, we sync on Mondays, 8 p.m. CET, 2 p.m. EST. We'll basically discuss a little bit of our working group updates, things that are going on the working group. We have orientation. I think a lot of you have been on that call. It's just a general talk, an overview about the TEC. We answer questions, we receive feedback, and it's at 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, 9 a.m. PST. And we have, as Juanca mentioned, we have the TEC Lounge, which is on Fridays, 5 p.m. CET, 8 a.m. PST, which is a TEC Lounge. You can take it as a meeting without an agenda. It's a place where you can just come, meet other people, share your thoughts, share how was your week, and it's a nice call to be part of the community. Then on the updates of this week, we have finally starting the first part of the onboarding journey for the TEC. We are tackling this on the Discord with the help of MS, LB, Ham, ViViV, Gideon, and all these contributors that are helping to make our Discord a more welcoming space. On the slides are the link to our content creation process. If you want to take a peek on it, it's really interesting. We are trying to nail the onboarding process and how we welcome everyone to this community. We want to make it better. So if you have any feedback related to onboarding or an onboarding that you have seen in other communities that actually work, please share it with us so we can take that in consideration. Every feedback is appreciated. Also this week, we updated the Welcome to the TEC forum section. It was a little bit outdated, so now most of the links are updated. I already mentioned the TEC Lounge. And then coming to, on the 27th of October, we will have a Forefront. We will go to Forefront DAO in a TEC Lounge to present our community. This is an effort that we share with Coms, and Shui is gonna be there as well as Juanca. So we're excited. And how did we know about Forefront? Because a lot of people mentioned on the onboarding that they came from Forefront DAO because they had a podcast. So it was really helpful to know this kind of information, and it's really helpful to connect with the communities and to connect with other DAOs to sort of improve the strength of our relationships. We also have here, you see the screenshots are a little bit of basically a screenshot of our last TEC Lounge and a screenshot of our last working group call. We had more people joining in. Don't hesitate if you want to know or learn about onboarding, if you want to be part of the community and don't know where to start, or just want to hang out. These spaces are created for this. And then finally, along with Ham, we are working on the working group funding proposal. It's coming along, and hopefully it will be ready soon. So that's on my end, and I will pass it on to Omega working group. I think Septimus.
I don't think Shebnem's here. I can just say Omega is studying the token engineering ethics, which is a really important piece of what we're trying to do here, is to make sure that we are building safe, resilient economies, and understanding the ethics behind it is really critical. So don't be shy. Come to an Omega call. The next one is on the 27th of October at 8 p.m. Europe time, so very friendly to many time zones. at least in the Americas. And it's always fun, and you'll learn a lot about it. And actually, I can't see. Is YGG here for labs?
Heyo.
Hey, nice. Take it away, man.
Thanks, Griff. Yeah, labs. There's so much happening that it doesn't even fit on one slide anymore, so that's exciting. Go ahead to the next slide there, Griff. So there's rewards, lots of rewards research happening. So there's the rewards systems task force taking off. That was really cool. The decision-making systems that Livy was going over, that was awesome. Lots of exciting evolution happening in the TEC here. But so we have the TEC Labs main working group every Friday, 9 a.m. PST, 6 p.m. Central European time. Something interesting is happening. Meta Verde is stepping up. She's going to be hosting the labs November 18th to February 24th. And she's going to be running a Solidity study group during that time. So that's really exciting. And it just works out perfectly for me because I'm going to be teaching with one of the Token Engineering Academy's, their rewards research group that they're kicking off. And for that, registration opens today. So I don't think it's open yet. I was just checking. But I'm sure they'll be making an announcement on their Twitter. So make sure you're following Token Engineering on Twitter, so that's exciting. So that's November 18th to February 24th as well. So additionally, in Prime DAO Discord server, there's DAO to DAO models workshopping happening every Wednesday, 9 a.m. PST, 6 p.m. Central European time. That's really exciting. We're 2 weeks into that, and it's just really cool. Building out the proposal inverter, building out CAD simulations, workers, brokers, and payers throughout the ecosystems of DAOs and how they can all interact. It's like really cool simulations going on there. Totally open. Find your way to the Prime DAO Discord server and just DM me if you need an invite or something. After that, we have Token Spice development workshops happening every Monday in the Token Engineering Academy server, 8 a.m. PST. And on the next slide there, we have office hours. We have Block Science open office hours Thursdays at 9 a.m. PST and Longtail Financial open office hours hosted by Octopus at noon PST Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I know that's a lot, but find a link to these slides is a good way to sort of keep track of all this stuff. And you can always DM me if you want more information on any of this. Thanks, Griff. And over to Chewy.
Thanks, YGG. So in the Comms working group, we meet every Tuesday. And right now we've been working a lot on creative onboarding. We basically want to become a sort of decentralized agency that works as a public good for other token engineering related projects. So we need your help, and we are also going to help you understand like what all of this means. So if you are a project manager, a graphic designer, social media manager, or an animator, give us a ping after orientation so that you get to work with us for token engineering. And this is gonna be called the team, which is a token engineering Amplify Messenger. And we're gonna have bounties coming pretty soon. So stay in the loop with us. And with that, I'll pass it to Griff with parameters. Septi with transparency.
Thank you. Yeah, the fancy we made electroration Monday at 2 p.m. CST. And yeah, basically what we were doing is we were finishing and we posted the audit, like we interviewed the audit process, and actually this process is like we have all the things we are going to monitor on the TC. So yeah, it would be super cool if you guys could give us some feedback there and see if we see achieving all the points we want to monitor, or yeah, and share with us like how we should monitor the TC, and we want to very good. So I'll pass it to the guy.
I can take it for Santi. There isn't a whole lot going on legal, just the same old, just nailing down our terms and conditions for the bonding curve, which I think are basically done. And then we'll also get some terms and conditions up for some proposals. That's also on our to-do list so that when people actually are making proposals that they have an understanding of what's happening so it's not a surprise. Or at least they click the they click the checkbox and say that they know what's happening. Yeah, and with that, I'll pass it to myself for Params. The Params working group we have weekly syncs on Tuesday, although that's probably going to be replaced with Param parties on Tuesday at that slot. But the next one will probably keep just in case before we start going full on Param parties. And the real magic happens on the weekend though. This 4-hour hack sesh on Sunday. If you want to help us in the Params group, then coming on Sunday is really the best way. It's a lot of fun. We put on music and we work on things, and actually a couple people come just to hang out and work on their own things. So you're more than welcome. It's Tuesday at 2 p.m. East Coast time in the States. And we're basically done. We're almost there. The dashboard is in beta for one more day, maybe 2 more days. We're going to, so amazing work to everyone in the Params team. But we're still always hunting down issues. So, this is our economy, our choice. Get in there, play with the dashboard. Still while it's early, be an early adopter, be an advanced user, get a head start on everybody else, and you can jump into the dashboard. There's no need to do a demo because we're mostly just fixing little things. We've shown all the demos that we need to show. But we should be. The big news is that we will be having our first real Param party. Hopefully. It'll be a real Param party tomorrow. We're cutting it to the wire. There's still some little bugs that we're fixing and trying to get these issues generated in the right repo, getting token log to work. But we should be able to get it all done in the next 24 hours and have our first Param party tomorrow at noon LA time, 9 p.m. in Central Europe. So if you guys, it's right after the meme party. So feel free to come to the make some memes and then design some economies. So it'll be really fun. And oh man, this is great. We have 13 minutes left to kick out our spotlight. Really happy to have the amazing Andre from Deep Work. Is Andre here? Yeah, there he is. Hey Andre, take it away. Tell us all about Deep Work.
Cool. Hey, little caveat. I'm at ListCon, Lisbon. So the last couple of days were a bit intense. So there was little sleep and a lot of noise. I'll kind of show you something that I've been working on over quite a while. So this is like more related to the infrastructure of Deep Work. Just for everybody who doesn't know me, I run a design studio called Deep Work, and we've designed more than 40 different products over the last couple of years in the Web3 space. Some of them, among those, is the Ethereum Launchpad or D-Hedge, some of you might be familiar with. But also feel free to just explore on deepwork.studio. Anyway, so what I'll try to briefly kind of present to you today is more like the infrastructure that I have designed this network of freelance designers for. So there were a lot of challenges in hiring designers, freelancers, retaining quality control, or like retaining high quality of output. And all of that seems to make a lot of sense in kind of the internet native organizations that we see now, because it's kind of so the ontology that I'll talk about is kind of like HR for DAOs, which we haven't really figured out yet, but I think this just might offer a specific perspective on how that could work. And I'm also building a software that can simplify these interactions. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me in a DM. I think that's easiest. I don't think there's a chat here, but I'll just also try to stick to 10 minutes, and we'll probably be a bit rushed. But again, like if you have any questions afterwards, don't hesitate reaching out. So I'll share my screen real quick with some slides, and then see if they work. So yeah, you should see here a pitch.com thing. So yeah, essentially, this is kind of HR for DAO, so DAO contributor onboarding and skill assessment. But before I go into like how everything works, let's just quickly zoom out and look at the different models of how organizations and people currently coordinate around work. So there's organizations and there's freelancers as two different models, and they have all their benefits and disadvantages. So for example, if you retain quality control, you have an HR department. Compensation is something that's very different. Governance is something that freelancers don't need at all, but with organizations, we have labor unions. Time commitment is also very, very different. So you'd have 9-to-5s and long-term contracts with organizations, but you're more flexible as a freelancer. And even though like the freelancer looks a little bit easier and like simpler to do, there is still this huge kind of advantage of organizational work, which is the financial stability that you receive when you're on payroll. And with a freelancer, you're gig work, and that's quite a lot of uncertainty. So a lot of people don't choose to go for the kind of freelancer type of work because they feel more secure at an organization. And I think what DAOs are trying to do is kind of finding this thing in the middle. And this is also kind of something that I've tried to understand and figure out with Deep Work as a design studio. Is like, how do we find the middle between like a more emotionally safe environment, but at the same time the freedom to be a freelancer. And in particular, the next slides will be focused on the HR or like kind of the way to retain the quality control. And I think if we figure that piece out, then all of the other parts might actually fall into place. So, we don't have meritocratic compensation yet. We don't really have like a good educational environment, and stability of income is also something that's quite tricky. So there's like two ways to address that. Either we automate certain work. So let's say if we're talking about decentralizing HR and skill assessment, then we automate the work with software, or we delegate the work to the individual. So decentralization essentially means taking a certain work that normally one entity would do, and then you're like distributing it across individuals who contribute to that organization. But the problem is if you add on work to other people, obviously they won't want to do it because they'll jump back to the more secure place of an organization with long-term contracts, financial stability, and so on. So one of the challenges is obviously how do we create incentives to actually kind of go towards the freelancer piece, so we can design a more like decentralized place, but at the same time use incentives to give people the motivation to actually get involved into something that's less stable. And there's three that are very powerful and that I learned as like working with design teams. One of them is that people actually like work as long as it's meaningful, so they like work on meaningful projects. Another one, they really like having enjoyable interactions with other people, so with people who are maybe smarter or like more knowledgeable in other areas. And the promise of that is also always something that's exciting. And these are actually the two core benefits that people have generally about work, and they're a lot stronger than the financial compensation. That's actually something that people don't really like primarily think about. It's more like you have to pay the rent, but these things actually stand out as like the focus points of work. And the third one is just choosing what to work and when. And all of these three are actually already figured out. Like we have environments in which that's already the case, which is video games. And if you think about video games, it's basically biologically there's not a huge difference between like organizational work and like playing video games, because you're just doing the same physical thing. So and sometimes games are even more demanding. So like I think it's worth, and I know it's probably obvious to most of you that's kind of where we're striving in general, to gamifying a lot of things. But we actually want to just create a joyful environment for work. And so I think there's actually quite an easy way to get there in terms of like the way we organize work. And so this is kind of a little perspective shift. So work streams is something that currently exists in organizations. So you would be like, this is like the I don't know, the software development if you're like building a product, or you know, like community management is like the one thing. But what we want to do is kind of break that out into individual projects that'll help us achieve these things on a regular basis. And so like I know this is maybe like a bit far-fetched, but bear with me, and thanks a lot for your patience, because I'll break these things down, and then they might make a bit more sense in that whole context, and how we can go from projects into like from the work that we do right now into something that feels more like a video game. And so if you look at a project, which is kind of something that's a recurring set of skills, so you break down the project into skills that you could potentially find on LinkedIn, for example, and you take each of those skills and you break those down into tasks. And you know, that way you'll know what needs to be done. So skills is like less of a general thing, but more of a very, very specific kind of type of work in a specific project in the organization, or like maybe that belongs to the work stream. And like for example, let's take like user research. You could find someone on LinkedIn who's good at user research, and you know, they can do these things, but and that's already helpful because you can specify exactly what the work is that you need people to do. So you just basically describe how to do it. We actually at Deep Work, we do that in our documentation, so you can go on Gitbook and then you see exactly each individual step of how to do something on Gitbook, and that helps you find people already and like, you know, qualify them if you're hiring someone. So that's easy. But if you don't want to do that, you just basically you can start with yourself. So you know these skills that are required for a project, and you like let someone buddy up and mentor them in. So because DAOs are also public, you can also even shadow on a project without participating, if it doesn't give you like a lot of confidence to work straight away. But this partnership is almost like this, like a much more intense way of learning into something that's a complex skill. And over time, you can, or like let's say with this research, you can like split the work between the expert who knows how to do the stuff and someone who's new, and then over time like learn into it. And this is actually quite interesting because it's the first time, like if you, let's say if you think about it that way, it's like education tied into the instant feedback from the economy, because you're not just like completing a project or completing work, but you're also learning at the same time, and you're kind of splitting up with someone else. And so and beyond that, you can also like attest that if someone completes a task, then they did it, and you know, like, you know, the expert is able to do these things, and the collaborator, they're just like get a badge for it. So we actually do that on Discord. You know, in the future we can just do that with NFTs or with other credentials. And so over time, as people learn through these projects, you basically upgrade people into something that's more and more like qualified, and then they're experts, and that scales up this expertise. And so you just have fully vetted experts who know exactly how to do the work. And so despite, like, regardless of how complex the skill set is, essentially going through that process allows you to expand on a project basis, to expand your organization and the complex skills, or like difficult skills. And so that was kind of the very long road. I think generally, like, you know, this is going back to here, where you just do these projects, and over time it creates it makes your organization stronger and stronger as you onboard more and more people. But then if more organizations actually join this, and more organizations start to do it, you create this graph of organizations, projects, skills, and workers. And I know I only have 1 minute, but I'm already done, almost done. So and if you have that graph where, well, everybody's doing that, you can pretty much like zoom into one of these things, and you know, you want to look for a project, you look for work, and you see who's attached to it, who you might want to work with, or, you know, do you want to hire someone as an organization? You look at that person and look at like what projects have they participated in. And so, long story short, and then you can, you know, assign badges to people who worked on different things. So, long story short, sorry that was very long. Obviously, you can zoom into you know, other areas as well and explore them. I just want to kind of to continue the conversation or like continue your train of thought, feel free to like give me feedback on this or like ask me any questions if you like. There is a prototype and there is like a working document that explains more how all of that works, and a prototype that you can click through, have a look at it. I know that was a very, very short summary of something that's actually a lot more dense than 15 minutes would allow. This is also like a very, very narrow perspective on a huge problem, and I'm not claiming that I'm solving this entire huge thing, and I want to be really clear with that. So what you'll see in the prototype is actually very, very like a tiny aspect of this whole problem. But I'm excited by all the initiatives and also by the TEC of like actually addressing that same issue, but from different perspectives, and also like I see a lot of people here in Lisbon talking about these things. So that was from me. Thank you so much for your attention and your interest in skills and in deep work. I